guys, this is Akshay Guru Bhaiya, Plutus Academy. So we are again here say for geography discussion, right? You must have noted कि बहुत सारे different topics पे we have those videos as well, ठीक है? So in the sequence now we are just going to continue with the one of the most important and yes, one of the most critical topic of the subject, right? Human geography as such, okay? And under the human geography section, paper 1 section B, right? You will find models, theories, okay? उस way में and simultaneously perspective in human geography, mainly perspective in human geography, you will find this radical approach, okay? Radical approach. देखो radical approach guys, this is one of the most important topic as I told you in the our human geography, yeah, geography optional as previous year question paper अगर आप trace करोगे, right, say from last 10 years as such, you will find, you will realize one thing, that the radical geography which was a bit say less focused area, right, but after 17-18 you will find consistent and even for a 20 marker questions on this kind of issue or topic as, ठीक है? Radical approach, welfare geography हो गया या critical revolution as a whole, critical revolution, right? This radical geography is a part of critical revolution. We are going to discuss no doubt critical revolution. So critical revolution, which was a bit neglected area or less focused area as such by UPSC, you will find after 17, see, it was having say a pretty much importance, that is what given by the UPSC, because it was a kind of a neglected area, so the student used to say less focused on this topic as well, and the result is what after 17-18 say what we have realized कि इसका importance say has increased now. So just now the part of this critical revolution, देखो critical revolution, the first thing, देखो the one thing being a student of geography you must have realized that say for geography and that too human geography as such, one typical approach or the one say approach in geography has led to a revolution say as a whole. It itself was a revolution and it then gives rise to a revolution as well, and that is what the quantitative revolution or approach that was supported by Schaeffer, okay, and contributed by say many geographers as such. So this quantitative revolution itself is a revolution, ठीक है, that has changed the overall approach of geographical studies. अगर इस पे अगर ये topic अगर आपको say in detail चाहिए तो I already have prepared, right, already say this video on quantitative geography, you can say go through that as well. So this quantitative revolution in the 1940s and say that lasted till 1970s, it has totally changed the way of geographical studies. But during this course of time, say geographers further realize one fact, that this excessive focus on fact, that fact speaks for themselves, is really not going to work, right? It just because say you are just because of this approach, say what we tend to neglect the human emotions, human consciousness, human creativity. And the human is merely considered as a point or dot on the earth surface, and that is absolutely not say the geography is supposed to do, and that's why इसके say counter में that the revolution that was started somehow, right, that is what a critical revolution in 70s and further onward. So as a part of critical revolution you will find welfare geography as well, humanism as well, then the radical approach as well. So for today's discussion our topic is radical approach. okay, or sometimes radical revolution, that is also to be considered as. Because the name itself indicates the very first thing, radical, right? So this radical, it means that it is what somehow seems to be having some extreme end. It consider what it believes, okay, in some extreme ways. The approach was first say propounded by Harvey in 1973, okay, somewhere around in 70s. But the real contributor for this theory, okay, or for this approach was actually a Pitt and Jensen. Actually, the Pitt, okay, he is to be considered as the father of radical geography as well, because he has given the name to this approach as well. The book titled Radical Geography, yes, you will find the book titled The Radical Geography. It is itself a landmark which has given an identity to this approach of geographical studies. So you have to jab bhi say radical approach, you are going to write an answer. Do remember, you have to mention 2, 3 or one additional name as well, Gold as well. Okay? So Pitt, Jensen, Harvey and Gold as well. I'll show you further contribution of him. So this geographer, you will find they are like say pretty much important in the radical geography. So the very nature of geography, radical geography, is actually say provided by this Pitt. And the university that you need to remember, that is what, say Clark University, okay, the Clark University of USA. जिन्होंने the very first radical journal was started in 1969, that was Antipode. Okay, so this is how the very foundation or the very basics of radical geography it is. Now the next thing is, you need to understand the foundation, the background first, right, for its evolution. That what happened, quantitative evolution, as I told you, it led to a very factful basis, right, say for geographical study, very generalization tendencies in geography, that we need some data, theories and fact models just to, in order to understand the surface, earth surface phenomena or spatial phenomena. But due to this approach, say the capitalism, yeah, you must be knowing during that time as well, there was this the era was a Cold War era, right? After Second World War, there was a Cold War era. So capitalism was and socialism, okay, or that communism as such, right? So these two were like say at a say counter head with each other. Now the forces or the causes actually for this matter is what, the rise of capitalism or the capitalism philosophy. That the second one, or which is actually the out branch of this capitalism philosophy as such, that is what is the US US indulgence in Vietnam War, 1960s, right, 60s. So that war that was lasted say for a decade, more than a decade as such, okay, and ultimately that was like a defeat of the those US forces as such, to be just like say to be more clear, right, like the kind of thing. So US indulgence, okay, or US aggression in the Vietnam. Second, the apartheid, okay, or say the racial discrimination against the black in America, okay, or maybe in the rest of the part of the world, and simultaneously the status of women. Status of women was a very thought that lead to the feminist geography as well, okay. The status of women. So this are the very foundation, or these are the very basic reason, say, which leads to the development of radical geography as a reaction to it. The one thing that you further need to remember, that is a say French geographer, okay, Radcliffe. So you will find this approach with this basic reasons or causes, it has led to some philosophies or the very basics of understanding. That what the thing is, the aggression of capitalism, okay, and that may be on newly developed countries as such, it just due to it just for the sake of say market and the exploitation of resources, right. The second thing is what, say it is against the poverty, it is against the inequality, it is against the racial discrimination as well, because the society, you know, the communism, the communist philosophy as such, so that it just try to create a equalistic society. That is what no doubt that is kind of a utopian concept, but still it just try to, it is aspired to achieve this particular say societal condition. And what, say radical geography, as it is influenced by the communist philosophy as well, okay, that the socialist philosophy, the Marx philosophy as well, Marxism. So it is again having that is what the kind of issue with this radical geography, okay, issue in the sense that it is against this particular societal tendencies. Then it is again, this philosophy is what having a strong base in humanism, because humanism kya hai, you will I have already prepared that video, right, so you can go to that video as well. Humanism, just to understand, just to explain over here, humanism is what, that philosophy which consider, okay, which keeps the human at the center, human creativity, human consciousness, human alertness, and human say human activeness as well, okay. So those factors are basically the keystones of humanism. And capitalism, okay, or maybe quantitative revolution, it consider human, okay, its emotion, its values, say merely what normative values, those are to be supposed to be neglected, right. So that in reaction you will find the radical geography then further proliferated. So most radical geographers accept geography as a legitimate field of study which is supposed to, and feel that it has to offer finding solutions to the world problem. It is not the case you are supposed to find the solution for industrial location only. You are not supposed to find only geomorphological say problems as such or disasters as such. Simultaneously the role of geography, because देखो geography क्या है? Geography is the spatial science. Yes, so the science we studied is about the surface of the earth. Now on the surface of the earth you will find the human is now a dominant force. So if human is a dominant force, in that case the problems of human, you have to understand the problems and simultaneously provide the solutions as well, not only to human but yeah to the whole society as a whole, okay, to be living biotic society as well. So this radical approach, it actually believes in say rejection of all this say very aligned tendencies of quantitative revolution, or considering living mass as a of no importance at all. So this is how this radical geography actually evolved. This also you will find the radical geography or this approach further enters into the political arena as well, further enters into the feminist, that lead to the feminist geography as well, okay, or feminism as well, okay. Then you will further find its way in the geographical approach as well, okay. Now अब ये तो हो गया the very nature, reasons, okay, and the approach of this radical geography, okay, radical approach, radical geography. Now what are the criticisms or limitation of this study? The very first thing is what, guys, देखो, that obvious है now, as this philosophy is say pretty much in connection with the that Marxism, ठीक. So it is bound to be say negated by or say opposed by capitalist individuals, okay, or capitalist philosophy. So typically you will find the developed countries, those are capitalist countries है, वहाँ से उनको rejections या say criticism face हुए. The second the second criticism or the major criticism actually say it is from the Russia or say those socialist geographers as well, or socialist say scientists as well, because they consider that is not a true form of communism or Marx philosophy, that okay, this is a kind of a adulteration in the Marxist philosophy, to be like say that the kind of frank enough, right, adulteration in the Marxist philosophy. So we don't accept this philosophy as that is what is connected with the Marxism, ठीक, तो कैपिटलिज्म में भी अपोज किया, मार्क्सिज्म ने अपोज किया. द थर्ड प्रॉब्लम इज व्हाट विद दिस अप्रोच, दैट दिस थियरी और दिस अप्रोच डज नॉट हैव एनी साउंड मेथोडोलॉजी. कि चलो दैट इज व्हाट एक्सेप्टेड कि यू आर इन प्रीटी मच अगेंस्ट विद द कैपिटलिज्म, यू आर प्रीटी मच इन फेवर ऑफ द इक्वालिटी से टू ऑल सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, वीकर सेक्शंस एंड ऑल दोस सेक्शंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, राइट. पॉलिटिकल इक्वालिटी यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, राइट. सो नो डाउट. But what about man? Then tell me, do you have any methodology to study about this, or the way we actually supposed to do it? No. So on that count, say this radical approach is not having that strong sound methodological background or development as such, approach development. Apart from that, you will find it is a kind of revolutionary ideology and aims. You will find, like say for example gold, as I told you. So according to gold, say what we should say overthrow the government that is say capitalist in nature, right. So though radical approach or philosophy, right, it does not have the solution in sight, but what it is what trying to provide the solution, say by means of uprooting the capitalist government. So that is in itself a revolutionary ideology and aims. Then you will find it could not build a theoretical base as well, no sound methodological footing that it has. Apart from the work of Pete, right, that is the radical geography and antipode journal, okay, journal, you won't find much literature work even that is developed on. ठीक है. And being very nascent in the stage, say we cannot rely or we don't have that enough sound methodological footing के जिससे हम कुछ एक inference draw करें और उसको implement करें. ठीक. Then at the best, radicalists just acted as the pressure groups in the US. Now, rather than very contributing part of society, rather than very contributing part of any science as such, what they merely able to succeed in being a pressure group, right. This is what counter by their critics, no doubt, but और भी हो सकते हैं इसमें supportive points उनमें, but the thing is what कि they merely acted as a pressure groups in the US and other parts of the world. But whatever the case guys, right, whatever the case, do remember हमारा conclusion जो होना चाहिए किसी भी आंसर में, so it must be on some positive note, because even if the radical geography does not have that sound methodology, radical approach as a whole, it is not having very developmental prospects or literature, okay, the sound literature as well. But still, say if you are going to conclude answer, always do remember, say कि conclusion जो होना चाहिए वो optimistic way पे, because say whatever this radical geography, right, whatever the philosophy and limitations are, it has enriched the subject matter, right, enrich the subject matter. So do remember your conclusion, it must be on say a positive note, that in spite of these criticisms, one has to appreciate the American approach, and it has provided a new direction to the study of poverty, unemployment, backwardness, social injustice and the factors of socio-economic underprivileged, right. ये सभी factors हैं जो radical geography के core पे है, right, at the very heart of the radical geography. And this is what you will find the very nature, okay, the very nature of conclusion it should be, right. Even अगर exam में भी question आएगा तो do remember you have to conclude this on this typical lines, ठीक है, this not typical, yeah, this lines as such, ठीक है. Those are basically those ultimately क्योंकि end जो करना है हमको positive note पे करना है, right. So radical geography, no doubt it has enriched the subject matter of geography, and you have to say focus on that fact over in the answer, okay. So I think you are now pretty much clear with the radical approach, the radical geography that lead to the radical geography as well. And yes, if you do have any doubts, if you do have any say issues with geographical study, you can comment me in the comment box, okay. So I'll try my best to answer those. And yes, do subscribe to the our YouTube channel as well. Do share, subscribe and like as well. So this is all about for today. We'll be meeting again with some new with a new topic in the new videos. Thank you.